But you're not bankrupt or anything.
He bought the lease on this Bankrupt disco. Beautiful.
How long it will take.
Bankrupt and takes a dive out of the
Bankruptcies, debtor sales.
Practically bankrupt.
Sure about that? The collateral calls can bankrupt you.
Criminally, do you intend to bankrupt?
Want to be bankrupted by the big plane or by the big airline?
That fire bankrupted a global arms corporation.
Because we're not quite bankrupt yet.
The Madoff thing that absolutely killed you, as you know. But you're not bankrupt or anything. It's just that you need to understand how serious.
Fat guy had the Argentine place on Madison. He bought the lease on this Bankrupt disco. Beautiful place. I got some investors together and we backed them. I got 50 grand.
You know, the two of us have a bet going. How long it will take until you go bankrupt. Oh, please don't take it.
Fight on her husband for a fur coat he can't afford, so he goes bankrupt and takes a dive out of the window. Who's right?
Chattels, dividends, shares, bankruptcies, debtor sales, opportunities, all manner of private.
When I inherited this estate from my father, it was practically bankrupt. To clear the land was the only solution.
I has touched. I want $500 million more swaps.
Sure about that? The collateral calls can bankrupt you.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
I am going to.
If they turn
How would we have known?
untouchable criminally, do you intend to bankrupt them civilly?
Whether or not they have a criminal problem,
There's trouble. You've got to make a choice. You want to be bankrupted by the big plane or by the big airline?
Of the World Bank. That fire bankrupted a global arms corporation. That wreck triggered so.
Evidence again.
Oh, that's great. Because we're not quite bankrupt yet.
We're fine.
Oh, you just lie.
I've already sworn in 400 deputies.
Do you want to bankrupt this administration?
But I'd get them for only $12 a night.
With the corrected versions.
Corrected.
Explaining how the Apollo missions were fake to bankrupt the Soviet Union.
I'd call more frequently, but between Mom and Dad and you and Ben, the long-distance calls are probably bankrupting everybody. Ben sent me a few bucks, so I'm managing. I got a job with...
A suitcase. And built a bankrupt company into a major manufactory. And left with it.
The bad news is the defendants have no money. Bankrupt. Disappointing, I know.
greater good of the community. Okay. Now, would that be true in the case of the now bankrupt South River housing development?
I'll run my business back home the way they run this army. I've been bankrupt in a month. 1 month. That's it.
In a surprise announcement, the Republican National Committee has revealed it is bankrupt. A spokesman for the party said they had plenty of money in it.
You can start a war, you can lie, you can cheat, you can bankrupt the country, but you can't fuck the interns. They'll get you for that.
Used to be a paint factory before the firm went bankrupt. We're going to use it as a filing center when you lot are through.
A little more of my time. I know I'm ungrateful, but ingratitude is not the sin to a spiritual bankrupt that it is to a man of God.
I don't think you owe me nothing.
Oil falls below $79 a barrel and the Russian government goes bankrupt. In our judgment, your assessment is extreme.
Well, my poor family, I've got them near bankrupt now. I'll have to ask them for more money.
Let me help you.
But Prodigy's standing is very fragile at the moment. And if you talk about it, Project Lazarus will go bankrupt. That's the bottom line, Mark. The failed...
Are we?
Really? Oh, that's quite absurd.
Gentlemen, if we don't cut spending, we will be bankrupt. Yes, the medicine is harsh, but...
Charge $5 for a Snickers. I could bankrupt the airline in about 4 bites.
Just thought maybe you would...
Terrifies me. So we had to read about an insurance company that went bankrupt in the 1930s and all the legal issues that went along with that.
You forget the last time you ran for Congress, you left the entire fucking movement bankrupt?
God bless America!
The government. That's right, folks. The same government who ruined our healthcare and bankrupted our military. Look at these people. Most of them don't even have guns.
I have.
Ouch. When you get those feelings, insurance companies start to go bankrupt.
Listen, the fax number is...
He lost another 20 in the real estate bust. You know, he was that close to being bankrupt.
If he needed cash, he could have just sold it.
Ray, come on, Ray. The stupid baseball field's gonna bankrupt you. Everybody knows it. Look, all I'm saying is if you wait till you default on your loan, you're gonna lose.
This would still fall short of abolition.
With their profits cut, I'd guess half the slavers will be bankrupt in 2 years. Then we'll pick off their MPs in the House one by one.
Your little vanity project's going to bankrupt the federal government.
Imagine the shock. My husband goes bankrupt and runs off to South America, leaving his wife and little daughter penniless.
Pretty good blog.
Yes, well, he certainly knows how to choose his employees.
Employee?
No wonder the place is bankrupt.
Buddy, I'm not an employee.
Really? So you're...
We're trying to swim a fucking waterfall here, Albert. We have a responsibility to the shareholders not to go bankrupt.
If you're so worried about that, then I'll go pro bono from here on in.
Who doesn't love Paris? Now that we've bankrupted the albino, he'll come running back to Paris with his tail between his legs.
Well, 2 months ago.
Check it. Thanks, Rick. Bob Simons was a bankrupt businessman and kidnapped his partner's daughter. He's a fuck-up, not a psycho. The guy we're looking for is nuts.
Saw too many movies as a child. Another orphan of a bankrupt culture who thinks he's John Wayne, Rambo, Marshall Dillon.
This is for Christ's sakes. And now I'm bankrupt. I'm divorced.